Hello, everyone. Welcome to another astrological energy update from my side. Thank you for dropping in and for trusting in the downloads and, just staying open to receive whatever wants to be expressed through me this time. But yeah, it's a very beautiful momentum that we are in, actually, because we are now wrapping up Scorpio season, because the sun is entering Sagittarius tomorrow. So we're moving on into another archetypal quality that has a lot of new lessons and learnings for us in store. And then, of course, Mercury and Mars are still sitting in Scorpio, so there's still a little bit of that energy going on. But they are going to follow the sun into Sagittarius, both within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So with one foot still in Scorpio, transformation, metamorphosis energy, we stand now with our second foot already in fiery Sagittarius. That is all about freedom, liberation, growth, expansion, abundance, limitlessness, truth, purpose, meaning, faith, belief, intuition, the higher mind. So it's basically what comes after we resurrect from the underworld. When you return back from that process of letting go. And there is space within us when we have let go of something. There is a certain spaciousness that emerges from that. And that spaciousness comes from liberating yourself from the identification with whatever has died and you let go of. You liberate yourself maybe from a lie that you've been telling yourself, a narrative that did not serve you anymore, because the truth wants to be lived, wants to be expressed. And with Sagittarius, we're going to dive into that. So, yeah, I'm actually quite excited because things are going to lighten up energetically a little bit through that shift. But there's always different lessons and learnings, and they come with their own intensity. And of course, it also depends on your own individual birth chart, where that transit is going to take place, in which area of life specifically these lessons and learnings are going to show up for you and in what way. But I'm going to talk about the archetype really in general today, just to give you a little taste of what's to come. And also to bring it back to the elements and to nature. So I want to start with that. So we have now explored in Scorpio like very deep, muddy waters. It was very emotional. It still is emotional. It still has, there's still intensity in the space. There's still the depth and become in the space. And Scorpio is about depth. It's about the underworld. It's what is below ground, what we don't see, the unconscious, the shadow, what we hide, what we don't see if we are below surface, and all we can see is what's conscious and what we are aware of. But below ground, that's Scorpio. That's where scorpionic waters and also that volcanic energy that I was talking about comes from, with the deepest core of the transformative. Yeah, it's also little fiery as well, Scorpio, with that lava that is able to destroy and to kill, but also to create, and has a lot of nourishment, a lot of fertility in it for new things that can grow from that. So that has been Scorpio season, and it's where we celebrated Samhain, we celebrated our ancestors, we brought that back into our awareness, that we are mortal beings, that mortality is actually it's a big part, it is a necessary part of life. Life can't go on without death. It needs to be integrated in Scorpio and Taurus. That polarity teaches that there's death in fertility and fertility in death. So now we enter a fiery sign, Sagittarius. It is fire, it is light. And its polarity is Gemini, which is air. And air and fire, like, we moved from the two feminine polarities, earth and water, to two masculine polarities, air and fire. And fire needs air, that it needs to be able to breathe. It needs oxygen so it can burn. But of course, too much air can blow it out. And on the other hand, fire can support air through warmth, through inspiration, spiritus, spirit. Sagittarius expresses itself through inspiration, for example. It's that kind of fire, or maybe I'm going to explain a little bit, like, there's always three qualities of every element. We have the cardinal one, the one that is initiating a new chapter, that is impulsive. In that case, that would be Aries. In spring, life returns back to us, and it's the seed of life, it's the spark of life, it's initiative, active, paving the way kind of energy, very impulsive. We connect to our instincts, we connect to following our impulses and our desires, and it's the I want. It's the I am, and it's the I want. And then we move on to Leo, the second fire sign, which is fixed fire, where we find our sense of self, where we connect to our personal power and also to our creative energy, where we need to express ourselves, and what feeds that fire within that sits in the heart. It's a fire that needs to burn constantly. It's not like a spark like in Aries. It is that bonfire within your heart that you need to feed with everything that sparks joy, with everything that makes you feel alive. Yeah. And then we move on to Sagittarius now, and Sagittarius is mutable fire. And whenever there is a mutable quality within an element, it has to do with flexibility, but also with the connection to other beings, with interaction with other beings. And Sagittarius fire, when you look at how Sagittarius is being portrayed, like the image is the one of the archer who shoots an arrow, who carries that, I don't know what the English word is right now, but imagine that arrow as a burning arrow, where it is that kind of fire, and fire is always light, it's always consciousness, is the one that can inspire and encourage and remind. So Sagittarius is following the light of truth, the truth that Sagittarius has uncovered by going through the valley of death, moving through Scorpio, is something that can be very inspiring to others. That's why Sagittarius is also considered to be the wise one, the teacher, the philosopher, the guru also. So it's where we find our truth, where we learn to stand up for ourselves in integrity. It is owning your truth, it is following your truth, it's connecting to your intuition and to how that truth, that intuition expresses itself through you, through your body, and following that. And well, Sagittarius is about constant growth, constant seeking of what expands our horizons, where we can learn, where we can let go of limitations and feel that spaciousness within, feel that abundance within, feel that freedom and liberation. And it somehow is also a little bit of an adventure seeker, of an adrenaline junkie, because it really seeks that space where it can step out of the known into the unknown, and really stretching that comfort zone and knowing that that is just another step in their journey of growth. So yeah, we come out of Scorpio, we feel that truth within us, we feel also that seeker within us that now knows, okay, this, whatever it is that I've let go of, this isn't working for me, but what is? And only my truth can lead me there. Only my inner light can shine the light on the path that is my path, that is aligned with me. The thing is, and of course there's always shadows with every archetype. With all of that spaciousness that Sagittarius brings, and the abundance, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Jupiter is also the biggest planet of our solar system, which again is a little symbol, a little sign that reflects that it is about expansion. It is about more, bigger, further, better. It's growth, constant growth. But we need to be aware that that need to grow, to find meaning, to seek, like there's a constant search, a constant seeking going on inside, through reflection, but also on the outside through traveling, for example, and connecting with everything that is foreign, so that we can also again expand our horizons. But we need to be aware of where that comes from, that need to grow. Because what Sagittarius is mirroring to us with abundance is how open are you, first of all, to actually receive abundance? How much of your truth is it already, like an embodied truth, that you are a limitless and abundant being? Or is there still within you a story of lack and scarcity, where all that seeking actually comes from a place of, I want to fill that space with something. I need more input. I need more improvement. I need to become better at this. I need more stimuli. Because it almost is like a constant drive within us to expand, to grow. So this is also why Sagittarius is considered to be the sign that is most afraid of commitment and settling down, because it's always seeking freedom and it's afraid of captivity. It's nature, it's the white stallion. It's yeah, it still needs enough space for being able to follow that quest as the truth seeker that it is. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a lesson for us on the topic of abundance, and how much abundance are we able to receive? Can we actually let it in? What stories of lack and scarcity are still running in our systems? What do we need to release of that, so that we can actually also follow that truth within us, that we are limitless beings? That's one of the shadow aspects of Sagittarius. Like, I need to become better and more, I need more, I need more, and I need more. So it's also, again, what's the English word? In German, we call it Maßlosigkeit. It's exaggeration. It's really going beyond your limits and maybe also boundaries. It is bringing abundance to a next level, just because, like, for example, when you look at the gods and goddesses, the mythology, there are always these feasts where there's so much to eat there that you don't even know where to start. But it's nothing special anymore to have that, like, to celebrate something. It is daily, like, also when you're kings and queens and you have these incredible dinners, and you also lose grounding, because there's constant abundance around you to fill up that hole of maybe loneliness. It's when you turn to overindulging. Yeah, I think that's the word. Sagittarius tries to fill an inner emptiness through overindulging. And that's where the shadow lies, and also where we need to come back to a place of I am already whole, I am already abundant, I don't need to seek that, do this, study another thing before actually being good enough to teach or whatever it is. Yes, so that is one of the shadows. What can also come up is when Sagittarius is so much about following your truth and seeking truth. When that quality is merged with our ego, it turns into righteousness, into confusing your truth, your path, your light with the absolute truth, and that this is the path that everyone needs to take. It's like coming from a place of know it all, knowing it better, because I've been there. Superiority, basically. And that again is also goes in with that abundance versus scarcity and lack thing, because superiority versus inferiority also brings up like I feel small in the presence of someone who's like really standing in their truth, and it can feel very intimidating when someone is so much in their integrity, but also I feel drawn to them like they can be my guru, right? They can they have all the answers, they've been there, so maybe I don't even have to step up, maybe I don't even have to do my Scorpio and go there and visit my own shadows and connect to my own intuition and truth. I'd rather stay here and put them on the pedestal and like taking everything in that is their truth as my truth. And here's where Sagittarius can become dangerous. And here's also where Gemini needs to come in as Sagittarius polarity. Gemini it's the curious child, it's the curious toddler that is very airy, and it needs to take in constant information and share information. It's a lot about communication. But if we integrate Gemini into Sagittarius, we can stay open and curious. We can ask people questions without standing in that superiority of already assuming that my truth is the absolute truth, or standing in that inferiority of not questioning at all what people are sharing. That's how religious wars can start. That's the origin of dogma. That's the origin of brainwash. Where there's only one truth, one God, one principle to follow. And if you don't stop and ask questions, then you hand over a shitload of power, right? So Sagittarius needs Gemini. It needs the curious mind. It needs the left brain, which is also, Gemini is also about doing their research. No? It is science, it is research, it is information. And it is about wanting to know, of course, which in itself has its own shadow because we can't never really know, right? So that's why the curiosity is so important. And that's why inner truth and intuition is so important to be our inner compasses, to again not taking any information without feeling into ourselves if that resonates, if that is aligned with our path or not. So I don't know how about you, but I feel that this is incredible, an incredible mirror of what we are collecting moving through these days. And it offers us such a potential to rise, to embrace our integrity, embrace our truth, our sovereignty, but to be aware that this also has a potential for war between belief systems if we take something as absolute truth and not respecting that every single soul on this planet has their own individual journey, their own path, and only they can do the Sagittarius. You can't do the Sagittarius for them. The only thing that you can do is be an inspiration, an encouragement, and a reminder of their own inner light that shines the way. And this goes the other way around too. When you have your guru, when you have people you look up to, and they are really, really important for us on our quest, they can really bring in expansion and growth. But only if we take it in as something that inspires us, that encourage us to walk our own path, and that reminds us of our own inner truth. So this is what Sagittarius is going to bring up. Alrighty, let me quickly check my notes if I have shared everything so far. I think that's it for now. I've already shared a lot. And yeah, once again, thank you for dropping in, for listening this far, watching this far, and just let me know how that lands and what that brings up for you. How that axis of Gemini Sagittarius shows up in your life, where you stand at this moment in time when it comes to this dynamic. I'd really, really, really love to know. I want to do my Gemini and stay open and curious to hear your story as well, not just me sharing here about one of those archetypal qualities. And yeah, so happy Sagittarius season. You're going to hear from me soon again, before I'm about to enter a 3-month container in Portugal about community living, where I'm going to do my Sagittarius and move from the Gemini quality of the city, the busy city, and also the limited kind of sensation in my body that the city brings up. I'm going to do my Sagittarius and move there for 3 weeks close to the ocean and integrate limitlessness, spaciousness, nourish that inner spaciousness. And yes, whatever makes you feel whatever feeds your freedom, even though the outside circumstances do not reflect or tell you that you are not free. Feel into yourself what feeds your freedom these days. Because we are free and sovereign beings. Thank you.